Jungkook's career has always moved with intention. His transitions never appear random. They unfold with precision, each one aligning with a pattern that HYBE often tries to mask until the final reveal. But this time, the mask slipped. The documents, the sudden internal changes, the pattern of marketing registrations all pointed toward a project that seems too coordinated to be a rumor. What emerged wasn't noise from fans guessing online. It was a structured sequence of evidence that hinted at Jungkook's next big Phase 1 that even HYBE didn't mean to reveal yet. The first trace appeared subtle. An internal code labeled under an unfamiliar project name, connected to an entertainment licensing update. It matched none of the group schedules or collaborative trademarks known to the public. What caught attention was the pattern, the same digital trail that previously aligned with Jungkook's solo promotions months before his 7 and Standing Next to You campaigns. This identical structure reappeared again in the system. That repetition alone was enough to suggest that Jungkook's next move had quietly entered its operational stage. HYBE, known for its strategic silence, has always tried to maintain control over Jungkook's timing. Yet every system has its fault lines. The exposure wasn't loud, but it was enough to unravel the direction he's moving toward, a new project likely tied to a high-level partnership, possibly on a global scale. The reason this stands out is because Jungkook's career trajectory no longer moves within the typical idol framework. He's become the bridge between performance artistry and commercial identity. And this new step seems designed to expand that even further. When analyzing HYBE's structure, one thing becomes clear. Every major move they make surrounding Jungkook has a dual purpose, part artistic, part strategic. Every reveal, even an accidental one, follows a deeper corporate logic. The traces found this time fit that logic perfectly. The involvement of external licensing groups, combined with an unannounced visual project and a temporary digital blackout on related assets, indicates a possible transition toward a global branding campaign or a new hybrid release that connects both music and brand presence. In short, HYBE's internal footprint revealed the blueprint of Jungkook's next world-level appearance. This kind of exposure is unusual because HYBE's operational system rarely fails in concealing pre-launch material. Their digital signature, however, became their own undoing. Internal teams have been synchronizing multiple regional licenses simultaneously, something they only do when preparing to launch content in multiple countries at once. In previous years, this was done during the lead-up to Jungkook's global debut as a soloist. The same pattern, repeated now, confirms that this next stage will likely transcend his prior campaigns. The timeline is deliberate, calculated, and globally synchronized. The significance of this exposure lies in how it reflects Jungkook's evolving role inside HYBE. He's no longer treated simply as an artist. He's an entity that the company aligns with strategic partnerships at the corporate level. HYBE has been restructuring its global outreach programs, and every time Jungkook becomes involved, the ripple effect extends beyond music. It reshapes market focus, shifts audience demographics, and amplifies brand relevance across multiple industries. This time, the unintentional exposure confirmed that HYBE is building something large enough to redefine his international framework. The evidence came through minor data fragments, time-stamped edits, metadata logs, and quietly replaced digital assets, all revolving around a singular artist code associated with Jungkook. That code has historically appeared only during rollout preparation. The new activity under that identifier revealed fresh entries confirming movement behind closed doors. What's revealing isn't the content itself, but the timing. It aligns exactly with the silent gaps in Jungkook's public schedule, the same type of pause that, in the past, has always preceded a major announcement. This level of coordination suggests that HYBE wasn't just preparing a comeback, it was setting the stage for a shift in Jungkook's global position. The project hints at a hybrid, a cross between creative content and a new visual identity. And because HYBE's accidental exposure revealed several internal production-linked assets registered under a global entertainment code, the direction becomes clear. Jungkook is preparing a multi-platform rollout that could merge music, fashion, and cinematic performance into one comprehensive campaign. HYBE's pattern with Jungkook has always revolved around timing control. Every announcement, every reveal is scheduled with algorithmic precision. Yet what this leak revealed is something more personal. The company is not ahead of Jungkook anymore, it's trying to keep up with him. The exposure showed that much of the upcoming work is structured around Jungkook's own creative team, rather than HYBE's centralized production body. This signals an internal shift, a repositioning, where Jungkook's influence now drives the strategy, not the other way around. This transition matters because it redefines who Jungkook is within his own agency. He's no longer the face of a campaign. He is the campaign. His influence dictates direction. HYBE, realizing this, has started adapting its entire rollout model around his global resonance. The accidental exposure confirmed that reality, the registered files and branding templates clearly reflect Jungkook's personal aesthetic. From typography to file naming conventions, every element points back to his creative DNA. Even when HYBE tried to control the narrative, the details expose the truth. Jungkook's next move is self-driven, and the company is merely structuring itself around his orbit. The most striking detail in the exposure was the registration of new production material in collaboration with external creative teams outside Korea. This marks a clear continuation of Jungkook's global path. The teams involved were previously linked with Western music campaigns, major fashion visuals, and high-end digital art projects. It implies that Jungkook's next project won't just be a musical release, it will be a full-scale visual experience that reinforces his international positioning. The tone, the design, and the coordination suggest a return not to familiar Korean rollouts, but to something built for global stage impact. HYBE's accidental move exposed not just a project, but an evolution. What stands out isn't what the files contained, but what they confirmed about Jungkook's direction. The company is preparing him for something larger than any regional campaign. It's setting up a new identity, Phase 1, that positions him as a standalone cultural icon beyond the music industry. That strategy requires precision timing, and for it to be revealed prematurely undermines the company's carefully built rollout secrecy. But for observers, it confirms what many already suspected. Jungkook's next step is global consolidation, not experimentation. Every past release from Jungkook has been a progression, not repetition. His projects grow with scale and depth, not with formula. This exposure fits that sequence perfectly. HYBE's digital slip revealed layered structures, production plans, rollout scheduling, brand coordination, each pointing toward a campaign that matches neither past solo releases nor group patterns. It's entirely new. That's why this revelation is significant. It exposes the invisible momentum behind Jungkook's evolution, one that HYBE could no longer contain within its usual control systems. Another important layer in this exposure lies in the internal shift it reflects within HYBE's leadership strategy. The company has increasingly been adjusting its marketing and financial focus around individual global figures rather than collective branding. And Jungkook's data footprint dominates that structure. His reach drives global metrics, and his name alone sustains digital engagement across multiple markets. So when the internal leak surfaced, it didn't just expose his next move, it confirmed his structural importance inside HYBE's future planning. Jungkook isn't following their model anymore, he is redefining it. This realization carries implications for how the industry views HYBE's control. The company, once seen as the architect of every move, now appears to be reacting to Jungkook's global rhythm. The exposure showed that the resources allocated to his next project surpass even group-level budgets. That kind of investment doesn't happen randomly. It's a corporate signal that Jungkook's influence has reached a level where his trajectory defines company strategy, not the other way around. HYBE may have built the platform, but Jungkook has now become its living blueprint. This also changes how the public will likely perceive future rollouts. Once Jungkook's new phase is officially revealed, it won't just be a release, it will be an event. HYBE's accidental exposure revealed the groundwork of a campaign built to command attention on a global scale. The involvement of external creative partners, synchronized digital distribution platforms, and new production licensing arrangements all suggest a massive project designed to mark a shift in tone, sound, and presentation. Jungkook's silence during this time becomes even more meaningful. When he disappears publicly, it's never inactivity, it's recalibration. This quiet period aligns perfectly with HYBE's internal activity spike. Every indicator points toward a synchronized strategy. Jungkook is preparing, HYBE is restructuring, and the digital trail they accidentally left behind confirms the convergence of both forces into one significant launch. The next big move isn't just about music, it's about ownership. The structure of HYBE's digital exposure reveals that Jungkook's creative involvement now extends into executive decision-making layers. He's shaping not just content, but the infrastructure of how that content reaches the world. That shift represents the highest level of artist autonomy in the company's history. The exposure, unintentional as it may have been, confirms that HYBE's internal system is now partially driven by Jungkook's creative direction. In essence, the leak did more than reveal data, it exposed power. Jungkook's next big move isn't a mere release, it's the culmination of years of strategic evolution. He's stepping into full creative control under HYBE's system, using its machinery as a vehicle rather than a boundary. That's what makes this exposure so significant. It's revealed not only what's next for Jungkook, but also what HYBE has become because of him. And, as the silence before the official reveal continues, one thing remains clear. What HYBE tried to keep hidden has already been seen. The framework is out there. The traces are irreversible. Jungkook's next chapter has already begun, not through press releases or social media teasers, but through the company's own unintentional confession. This wasn't just a slip of data. It was the unveiling of control, direction, and creative dominance. HYBE may have tried to hide the blueprint, but Jungkook's path is already too large to conceal. What was meant to remain confidential instead became the clearest signal yet. Jungkook is building something far beyond their original vision, and this time, HYBE isn't leading him there. They're following.